How do you feel, Derek?
Okay. When's the seaweed wrap?
You shut up now. I want you to relax and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply.
I like this song.
Of course you do.
Hello, Derek.
Hello.
Welcome to your relaxation time. Let this wonderful 80s classic soothe you. Just a nice, warm, happy time. Happy, happy, happy. Ha 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 ha.
So excited for this next interview. Education Secretary Linda McMahon is going to all 50 states, she and her team, all of those schools, those kids she wants to talk to. It's part of the department's History Rocks tour. It recognizes excellence in civics education, and it also promotes the founding principles that shaped our history ahead of America's 250th anniversary in July.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Well, remember when the last administration decided to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake.
Secretary McMahon in Focus with me now. Great to have you. I'm excited to have this conversation because you bring so much sunshine to a topic that's been kind of tough. First of all, tell us where we are with where kids are doing in just scholastically in the country.
We're doing terribly. I mean, our education system's failed our kids. The latest NAEP scores, which were released just after the president took office, and that's the national report card, only about 30% of high schools and 8th graders can read proficiently or do math proficiently. Think about that. Public schools across the country, only about 30%. Some places 35%, but it's just terrible.
The Balanced Breakfast program just created a generation of ultra-strong super criminals.
And midnight basketball taught them to function without sleep.
What about my pledge to build the world's largest bookmobile? Isn't there any money left for that?
No, and we borrowed from every country in the world.
You said something to me in the commercial break. I wrote it down. You said by 8th grade, that's a hinge point. And you said at that point, kids at first were learning to read. By 8th grade, they are now reading to learn.
It's actually 3rd grade.
Oh,
Nothing to worry about at all. Just relax.
Hey there, Derek. My name is Little Cletus. I'm just a regular kid who wants you to know the real truth about child labor laws, okay?
Okay.
They're silly and outdated.
Look, without Derek Zoolander, male modeling wouldn't be what it is today.
He is a fashion icon.
So do you spend a lot of time working on these looks, thinking about them?
Oh, sure. I've been working on Magnum for at least the last 8 or 9 years.
Magnum? That's intriguing. Can I see that?
Are you kidding? I shouldn't even be talking about it. It's nowhere near ready.
It's almost like there's a light around him. He exudes beauty.
I think about Derek every time I design a collection.
Derek, I don't know if you're familiar with the belief that some Aboriginal tribes hold. It's the concept that a photo might steal a part of your soul. I mean, what are your thoughts on that as someone gets his picture taken for a living?
That blue steel look he does, oh my gosh, the style and the hair. You know, it's almost like the new afro for the white man, but it's beautiful.
Well, I guess I would have to answer your question with another question. How many Aboriginals do you see modeling?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fashion industry's biggest night, the VH1 Fashion Awards.
In the good old days, kids as young as 5 could work as they pleased.
So I was first introduced to Charlie, as you know, during my congressional campaign in 2022. I ran for Congress up in New Hampshire, which is my home state. We have some Granite Staters. Hi, guys. nomination primary state. That's how I was introduced to politics. I came to DC. I worked in President Trump's White House in the first term, started as an intern. And then, unfortunately, Joe Biden was installed as president of the United States.
From textile factories to iron smelts. Yippee, hooray! But today, the age-old right of children to work is under attack. From the Philippines to Bangladesh, and China and India, and South America too. Boo-hoo! But you can help these children, Derek, by killing the Prime Minister of Malaysia. He's bad.
What?
You learned martial arts. Ha, ha, ha. Prime Minister of Malaysia, bad. Martial arts, good.
So I had to choose a different job. And I went over to Capitol Hill, and I was a communications director for former Congresswoman, soon to be former Elise Stefanik. And she actually really encouraged and inspired me to run for office. So I said, heck yeah, let's do it.
Wow.
Third grade, by third grade, you need to be able to read proficiently. Up and through the end of third grade, you're learning to read, and after that, you're reading to learn. And if you cannot read by the time you leave third grade, then you're going to continue to fall behind. And that's just not reading words. That's reading to comprehend, reading to understand. And so what we found is getting back to the basics of reading, with phonics.
Linda McMahon. You've got a beer bag. Yeah, exactly what was. And I forgot
Dad,
to say thank you.
please, this mobile could be my ticket to Yale.
Another Bush kid. Another Bush kid. How about this girl?
Her grades and test scores are superb. She's got Bula. But does she have Bula Bula?
What about this mobile she did in the second grade?
Accept. Full ride.
Bula Bula, Bula Bula.
Not so fast, Lisa. You didn't apologize to your second grade teacher. And all we do at Yale is apologize.
Sorry, sorry, sorry. Please excuse our quirks. Quirks, quirks, quirks. Won't you kindly listen to us rich male jerks?
The science of reading, and we've seen it be, allergy season is terrible. We've seen it be successful, throughout the country for those schools that are going back to that.
Wow. Well, I know you're on tour right now, all 50 states, either you and or your team. It is a nonpartisan tour and typically includes a speech followed by a history quiz and actually a bit of a game show, so we'll get into that. But cue the left's outrage anyway. Even though this is not partisan and it's completely positive, at least 4 stops have been canceled in Massachusetts, Alabama, and Connecticut. Stops in Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Illinois have been met with protesting. Secretary, talk to me.
Well, it's crazy. I don't know what they think this is about, but if they were just to come into one of the sessions and listen to these questions, they're about, the Constitution. They're about the Declaration of Independence.
We sing for free.
Goodbye, college fund.
We can't be stopped.
Well, I am here to offer you money. I'd like to endow a Department of Nuclear Plant Management.
Wonderful. Of course, we can't do nuclear.
Our students are highly entitled wusses.
You'd be creating a space for violence to happen.
Release me, you hound. Oh, yeah. What's happened to this place?
They're about our forefathers, and it's really learning about our country and civics, and a lot of the questions are relative to U.S. history, or then we also have questions tailored to their states. Mm-hmm. And it really is a civics lesson. It's in, it's in lockstep with the president's 250th celebration, or the country's 250th celebration.
Yeah. Yeah. This was the home of ruthless media disruptor Samuel F.B. Morse. Who's his successor? That fellow?
Fellow. That word is cisgender normative, okay? You're worse than Hitler!
Too late for flattery. I'm not giving this school a dime. Former bonesman.
Living or dead?
Living, but you'd better hurry. I'm gauge cloaking device. Nothing relaxes me like a stiff drink from the skull of Martin Van Buren.
Care for some Pancho Villa?
Has everything in this school surrendered to diversity? I could start my own college.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't talk business in here. Just general schemes for world domination. Fraternal handshake.
Oh, all right.
You are on my radar.
What you doing, Mr. B? I never want to see the word Yale again. We're changing all our locks to Schlage. To be honest, I'm thinking of starting my own college. A for-profit college? Excellent. Kudos. And now for your first economics lesson. So long, suckers! Bula bula. Moola moola.
Obey my dog! On the runway, you have one objective. Do not be distracted by the beautiful celebrities. Do as you've been trained to do, and kill the Malaysian Prime Minister!
And I launched my congressional campaign. And Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were the only organization in the political world that supported me. The entire establishment in the city were with my opponent in the primary, but I think Charlie loved that I was a young person who was stepping up to the plate, and he and Tyler reached out, flew me out to Arizona, met them at the headquarters, and then they said, we're on board fully, and they truly were throughout the entire primary. We met at the investor retreat in Arizona. They introduced me to all of these MAGA Patriot donors who contributed to my campaign. And I'll never forget it because Charlie gave me his word that he would support me, and he did all the way through, not just through that congressional run.
Karate shot! Bad, awful bad! In your little blue suit and your spiky black hair. Yeah. You're a super hot ninja machine!
The primary, and then in the general election when I did lose to the Democrat candidate. But God closed that door but opened another, which led me now to the White House podium. And Charlie was one of the first people the night that President Trump appointed me to this role that I'm in to congratulate me and say how proud he was. So I'll never forget that, and he's amazing.
And it's a big stage set up, flags on either side, and we have video boards on each side, digital boards on each side. The questions come up, the kids can see them and read them, and then the kids are asked questions, multiple choice, and then if it's question A, they hold up the U.S. flag or whichever letter is the correct one, and if it is another question that's relative to their state, then they turn it over and show their state flag.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
They're all covered with filthy germs, aren't they, Smithers?
Why, what do you mean, sir?
Freemasons run the country!
Not only this country, but the entire world. People need to understand, it's not a question if someone's a Mason. In Hollywood, the music industry, all these people on the very top of this world, they're all Masons. Everybody underneath that are non-Masons, we just get the crumbs in this world. Taking a look at Sylvester Stallone, Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and John Carpenter of They Live, Halloween, and so many other movies. These are all Freemasons, once again. So, when you look at any directors, writers, or producers in Hollywood, you know they're a Mason. It's not a question if. It's only Masons to make it to the top of this world. Now, all the connections when it comes to Matt Groening, and you see here, they're all doing the Eye of Illumination because they're all part of this exclusive club. better known in the mainstream as the Illuminati, which is actually Freemasonry. Illuminati is just a cover for Freemasonry. This is what it's all about. Basically, Club 33, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Taking a look at all the connections, again, when it comes to Matt Groening, for anybody that doubts he's a Freemason, like everybody else in Hollywood, and again, everybody else that makes the top of this world. Take a look here. Again, when you take a look at The Simpsons, everybody's seen this. Very famous with Bart Simpson holding the money. You see the magazine held by Lisa. New York, you see the 9 and the 11, of course. As I mentioned many times, the towers came down after 33 years. Construction first started in 1968. The towers, of course, came down in 2001. This was nothing more than a Freemasonic ritual. Now, more connections made here with The Simpsons. You have the Simpson family, parking right in front of a 33-cent store. Just take a look at the name Simpson. Again, these people, they work on the number systems. Not only numbers, colors, dates, signs, and symbols. This is what Masonry is all about. This is their own language of communication. It's not for the masses to understand or comprehend. For those that watch this video and say, conspiracy theorists, this and that. You people don't understand. You have been completely manipulated and mind-controlled by those that own and control TV. Again, they don't just devise these names out of thin air. Now, just like here, like I pointed out, with the Twin Towers. Each Twin Tower was exactly 110 stories each. Why is that? You have a man named David Rockefeller behind the Twin Towers. Okay, Rockefeller just happens to be 110 in numerology. Take away the 0, and you get 11 as in the Twin Towers as well. These people are occultists. If you don't understand the occult, you don't understand Freemasonry, this is all going to go over your head. And of course, you're never going to hear about this stuff on TV. These are the same people that own and control all of TV. Okay, but they'll give you truth, which seems ridiculous to most in these cartoons, TV shows, and again, comedy. This is the world of opposites, of duality, where nothing is as it appears. Another example with mockery when it comes to The Simpsons. Take a look at this episode. You see these two dancing, and right behind them, you see this tower on fire, of course, representing 9/11. This was dated back in 1997, around that time frame. Now, more connections made here. These so-called elite Freemasons behind the scenes, again, doing things in opposites. This is the satanic way. When you see the clock here, you see the 9/11 upside down. Again, this is how they do it. Now, again, people like Matt Groening are in the know. They know the scripted reality we're living in. They're part of it, creating it, which, Hollywood and TV shows are nothing more than social programming and mockery as well. When you see this episode of The Simpsons, again, back to 1997, and they have the Ebola virus. Just taking a look here, as I've shown before, all 4 supposed American victims, 33 years old. Now, what are the chances of this? This was nothing more than a Freemasonic hoax. Now, more connections made in understanding just simple concepts, these so-called enlightened ones are all about. When you see these characters with only 4 fingers on their hands, they can easily have them, with 5 fingers on each hand. Why is this? It just so happens Matt Groening in Chaldean numerology is 44. So you understand the concept. Everything they do, there's a reason. It's not pulled out of thin air. Just take a look at Bart Simpson here. Normally he wears the red and blue. This is all about, again, Masonry. You get the Blue Lodge. You also have here the Queen of England and the nurse wearing the red and blue. And you see the Masonic symbols. You see the pentagram as well. So again, understand, there is a reason for everything. They don't devise these concepts out of thin air. Now let's take a look at this one episode, for example, talking about concepts where they don't just pull things out of thin air. You see this one episode, Orange is the New Yellow, because orange is all about Freemasonry. The only color in numerology, that is 33. So again, if you don't understand Freemasonry, you see a tile like this, just go right over your head. Just like a comedian telling you a joke when you don't understand what he's saying. Okay, now let's take a look here. All about the occult. Again, annual meeting, International Brotherhood of Evil. And you have the lightning bolt and you have the skull. Of course, as I mentioned before, lightning is a representation of Satan, where it states in the Bible, Luke chapter 10, verses 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Just like the founder of the Satanic Church, Anton LaVey, with the lightning bolt within the upside down satanic pentagram. Again, they're all about signs and symbols with these Satanists, with these occultists. Let's take a look at this other episode here from The Simpsons with the pentagram as well. More examples. We have the right side pentagram now. Again, hidden symbols in plain sight with the Masonic square and compass. Take a look here again. I'm going to get to this more with the skull. It's all about skull and bones, but let's take a look here. More signs and symbols from The Simpsons, and you get the Masonic, again, square and compass, the all-seeing eye within the pyramid. Again, all about Masonry, right in plain sight. So people that want to deny that Matt Groening is part of this club of Freemasons, of course, if you don't know about the occult, it's going to brush off as you believe, oh, if this was true, the news would tell us so. Again, you have no concept and understanding of who those behind the scenes that control it all. They're all Masons working together. And as I showed this image earlier, with the reference to the skull, it's all about skull and bones. And let's look at this episode of The Simpsons. Again, a reference to Skull and Bones of Yale. Take a listen.
Mine is the proud bearing and glossy fur coat of a Yale man. Hello, little fella. Smithers, I believe this dog was in Skull and Bones.
Again, if you don't understand Freemasonry, about the occult, you'll not catch what he's saying. Basically, they're all about, again, sign symbols, also these Masonic handshakes. And this dog supposedly is doing some type of Masonic handshake, a reference to Skull and Bones. Again, an inside joke, only the occultist will understand it. As you see here, George Bush, and you see the Skull and Bone symbolism. Let's take a look here. I found pretty interesting, again, when it comes to Mr. Burns, as you see here. I'll get into him in a little bit as far as who this represents. First off, the concept of Mr. Burns. Let's take a look here. And you'll see here, again, the 33. Once you understand Masonry, once you understand the occult, you'll understand what's taking place in this world. It's very simple once you understand what's taking place. Now, before Matt Groening even started with The Simpsons, let's take a look here what he was a part of, what he started, this comic called How to Go to Hell. It goes way back to 1977. Again, these people are basically, Freemasons are nothing more than Satanists in disguise. So take a look here from Fox, and I want to touch upon Fox with this preview. I'll show it right now. Actually, I kind of skipped ahead here, but you see The Simpsons on Fox. Now understand the occult and the Matrix and what's taking place here. You understand, again, the occult, you understand what's taking place. You have Fox in Pythagorean numerology, how it's all lined up. You get, again, 666 when it comes to Fox. This is why you have 20th Century Fox. This is why you have Fox News. And, of course, the Fox channel itself. Fox Film. The list goes on and on. Now, let's take a look here at this preview. Play right here first. I found this pretty interesting. A reference to breaking through the dome with Homer Simpson. Take a look here.
Tonight, Homer discovers a secret vault.
It's a weird, twisted, eerie, godless, evil stuff. And I want in.
On a brand new Simpsons tonight.
There you go. It's all about Masonry, all about partaking in evil. And you see the blindfold. This is all about Masonry once again. Taking a look at this Masonic ritual taking place. And you see the blindfold. Again, it's all about Masonry. Signs and symbols. Again, what they're all about. Now, let's take a look here. This one episode. As you see these people raptured away to heaven. Let's see what's taking place here with the Simpson family. Raptured away to heaven. Lisa's being pulled up. One thing I find interesting, if I pause it at the right spot, let me back up just a tiny bit, and he does the devil horns right before descending down to hell. Trying to make hell sound like not such a bad thing. And again, the reference to falling through the firmament, the dome, as I shown before. I'll play it once again. with this scene here. Again, just more mockery.
Steroid Santa Claus kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back. And the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the...
Again, just a mockery of the Bible where it mentions God's firmament. This is what it's about. Again, people watch this. Millions and millions of people worldwide will watch this and have no understanding, no concept what this is all about. And again, this image with the so-called enlightened ones. And I'll play this clip as well, talking about enlightened ones. The same entire concept like I mentioned earlier. Truth in movies and lies in the news. Take a listen to what Mel Gibson says here, again, in this movie titled Conspiracy Theory.
Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, you know, and as ex-director of the CIA.
George Bush was a 33rd degree Freemason. Again, this is how they do it. They love to mock. Again, the world of opposites and duality, where nothing is as it seems. Now, again, for those that don't understand the whole entire concept of Freemasonry, I'll play a previous video showing all the connections with the 33 when it comes to such as Time Warner and CNN, the police departments, and so on. So people understand this whole scope, the entire big picture, not just when it comes to Simpsons, the whole basic world system, which is run by Freemasons from behind the scenes. Connection with Alex Jones, nothing more than a made-up character, and Glenn Beck. Let's take a look at this interesting connection. Alex Jones, again, this made-up character. Why do they give him the name Alex Jones? You just so happen to get a 33. Now, Glenn Beck, this Time magazine cover, and how people can't see this is just an actor. You have the occult with Madman. I mean, everything, like I said, is devised for a reason. They don't just come up with these concepts for this title of Time magazine with Madman for no reason at all. Turn it sideways and you get the MM for 33. Just like Marty McFly, Mad Max, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe, Michael Myers, the list goes on and on and on. All these fictitious names in Hollywood are basically made up to get that 33 with the MM. And now the connection again with Alex Jones. Take a look at this. Chaldean numerology. Glenn Beck just so happens to be 33 as well. So we have these two so-called truth speakers from InfoWars, which is Time Warner, and one with Fox News, the liberal station, CNN, and the conservative station with Fox News, and you get the 233. So, what does this all mean? It all comes down to it. Everything is synchronized to get that number 33 with Freemasonry. I find it pretty amazing what's taking place. People, they'll watch these two speak for years and years, and they'll fall for the deception, fall for the half-truths at best, and not understand what's taking place here in this deception. Now, again, I'll play my previous video, making the connection, again, with the world deceived in 5 minutes. With all the videos I make about the hoaxes and psyops, with so many people coming to my channel saying, not everything's a hoax, they don't understand what's taking place, I'm going to break this down quickly and make all the connections necessary so people that are blind to what's taking place, they can see, even they can see the obvious. Going back in time, well before any of us in this world were around, just take a look at George Washington, at this bust in Washington, D.C. Here is another one here. A little bit of a closer look. Dates here, George Washington, Freemason, and first president in that order. Okay? You're not going to hear about this in elementary school, middle school, high school, college, university. And why not? You need to ask yourself, why not? Why don't they tell us that George Washington was a Freemason? Why don't they tell us about Freemasonry in the school system? Because these are the ones behind the scenes that control it all. Taking a look at these images, Harry Truman wearing the Masonic fez that says Arafat on it. Okay. See Harry Truman again, with the fellow Freemasons. He's wearing the Masonic apron. Can you see it right there? Now, taking a look at Richard Nixon. You see the Masonic handshake. All working together, these world leaders. All on the same page. Gerald Ford, the Masonic fez. Okay? Now take a look here at George Bush with Skull and Bones. Now the connection, the pecking order from the top to the bottom. Let's take a look here at the police department. Taking a look at this Masonic police pin. The name police itself and the G is both equal 33. People need to understand they don't devise these names out of thin air. It's always a reason for everything. Let's take a look here. See, police is 33 in numerology. Also, with the G, a very clever way how they devise the G. When it comes to 33, A through Z, 26, skip over, and you get the G for 33. So understand, who controls the police department? These were established by the Freemasons. It's owned and controlled by the Masons. It's very easy to see when you have eyes to see. You see the gloves, the Masonic gloves. You see the checkerboard, just like the Masonic Lodge. It's very easy, once you put all the pieces together, to see what's taking place. Now, make it the connection from these so-called leaders, such as George Bush here, again to the police department, now to the actors involved in the world stage, such as Robbie Parker and Emily Parker, his supposed daughter, the name Robbie Parker. Robbie is 33, so is Parker. Parker is 33. So, you see everybody involved in this matrix, and you'll see that 33. Just like I've shown here before as well. Okay, Robbie and Parker, both 33. Just like the Ebola hoax. All these supposed American victims, 33 years old. Now, if you think this is a coincidence, then you are absolutely not interested in the truth. You're just interested in preserving the lie system that you've been born into, and not interested in seeking truth. And this is why they're called the enlightened ones. They're the ones with all the knowledge. Everybody below is kept ignorant. Even those in the school system, they are simply paid to teach out of the textbooks. They cannot deviate. If they deviate, they're basically out of a job. So understand, generation after generation after generation have been brainwashed to the entire exact same system of lies and deception. And they don't even know it. They're just teaching what they're told to teach. Now, taking a look here when it comes to the media, just one last connection. Like I showed before with CNN. Look at this logo. Everything they do, there is a reason. As I showed here, turn this logo sideways and you get the two 33s. And if you think that's just a coincidence, as I showed before, CNN is located on the 33rd parallel. So with this video, you can see the chain of command when it takes place with all the hoaxes, all the psyops. And again, most people are in denial. They don't want to believe this is true.
The only way to really cure that what's on the inside is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
Oh, and just like that, we lost him. I know, I heard you guys rapping me.
This is undeniable. Who's behind it all? Once people are down a path of lies, it's very hard to turn around, especially when you spend tens of thousands of dollars on your education and everything you've been told is nothing but a lie. The truth pill is a very hard one to swallow. Again, very few want to admit they've been lied to their entire lives. It's a sad truth. Again, ego and pride in what they believe is truth is preventing them from seeing what's taking place in the absolute truth.
My leg is a piano.
This song is stuck in my head, and my head loves it.
Join the party! What's wrong with you? You're not acting like yourself.
This is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. Run! Don't listen to the music, Emmett, if you want your noodle to stay al dente.
How would you describe what the circle is to, say, your grandmother?
It's the chaos of the web made elegant.
Speed round, Paul or John?
Early Paul, late John.
Mario or Sonic?
Early Sonic, late Mario.
Needs of the society or needs of the individual?
Should be the same.
You're most scared of?
Unfulfilled potential.
am a believer in the perfectibility of human beings. When we are our best selves, the possibilities are endless. At the circle, there isn't a problem that we cannot solve. We can cure any disease, and we can end hunger without secrets, without the hoarding of knowledge and information. We can finally realize our potential. Circlers, do you like to share?
Until we abolish mandatory schooling, your child will be brought up as a slave so that he can accept becoming a slave later in life in adulthood.
If it happens, we'll know. Imagine the human rights implications. There needs to be accountability.
What is this?
The circle has the power to change everything. It's only our lies that get us in trouble. Things we hide. We care about everybody you care about. Because knowing is good, but knowing everything is better.
Carol! 759 Sector C.
Carol! We gotta go! We gotta get out of here! We gotta go right now!
Listen to me, Steve.
No, you don't understand! We've gotta go!
Go where?
No, we gotta go! What the hell are you talking about?
Steve, this is important. Go where? That's right. Go where? What happened in your room? Are you listening? What happened in your room is not an isolated incident. It is something that is happening everywhere to everyone. So, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna run? Where are you gonna hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one like you left.
红色是表示你的专注力显示得很高。
Teachers at this primary school in China
蓝色是走神了。
know exactly when someone isn't paying attention.
白色就是你可能跟网络还没有连接好。
These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. China has big plans to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. It has enabled a cashless economy where people make purchases with their faces. A giant network of surveillance cameras with facial recognition helps police monitor citizens. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like.
做出选择吧 Good job!
Classrooms have robots that analyze students' health and engagement levels. Students wear uniforms with chips that track their locations. There are even surveillance cameras that monitor how often students check their phones or yawn during classes. These gadgets have alarmed Chinese netizens. But schools say it wasn't hard for them getting parental consent to enroll kids into what is one of the world's largest experiments in AI education. A program that's supposed to boost students' grades while also feeding powerful algorithms.
为了就是国家的这个研究呀、发展呀，我觉得是没有问题的。
The government has poured billions of dollars into the project, bringing together tech giants, startups, and schools. We got exclusive access to a primary school a few hours outside of Shanghai. To see firsthand how AI tech is being used in the classroom. For this 5th grade class, the day begins with putting on a brain wave sensing gadget. Students then practice meditating.
现在想象我们眉心有一点柔和的光芒绽放。
And this might lead to stereotypic behavior, with the repeated circling due to frustration about being in the pen and limited, said Matt Bell, a professor at the Department of Agriculture at Harper University in Gloucester, England, to Newsweek. then the other sheep join, as they are flock animals, and bond or join their friends. The social behavior of sheep is dominated by flock mentality, which controls the animal's movements and protects individuals from predators by prompting them to flee from danger as a group. According to the Merck Veterinary Manual, the sheep had been moving in a nearly perfect circle since no. Although there are 34 sheep pens at the farm, only the sheep in one of the pens know. 13 had been acting this way. Some have speculated that the sheep's behavior could also be caused by a bacterial disease called listeriosis, also known as circling disease.
We're not 100% certain about what we're dealing with here.
What are you gonna tell me?
I need to protect myself.
From what?
So I want you to look. Look as closely as possible. Because the tricks you are about to see may not seem connected, but we assure you they are. Is what follows 100 different tricks? Or is it one giant illusion?
The device is made in China and has 3 electrodes, 2 behind the ears and 1 on the forehead. These sensors pick up electrical signals sent by neurons in the brain. The neural data is then sent in real time to the teacher's computer. So while students are solving math problems, a teacher can quickly find out who's paying attention and who's not. A report is then generated that shows how well the class was paying attention. It even details each student's concentration level at 10-minute intervals. It's then sent to a chat group for parents. The reports are detailed, but whether these devices really work and what they exactly measure isn't as clear. We were curious if the headbands could actually measure concentration, so one of our reporters tried on the device.
This is a new technology with still fairly little research behind it.
Zanto is a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco. He was surprised to learn that this tech, called electroencephalography, also known as EEG, is being used in the classroom on children. It's usually used by doctors in hospitals and labs.
EEG is very susceptible to artifacts, and so if you are itchy or just a little fidgety, or the EEG wasn't set up properly so that the electrodes didn't have a good contact, affects the signal.
Despite the chances for false readings, teachers told us the headbands have forced students to become more disciplined.
上课回答我的问题，就是他们的声音会比平常更响亮。
Teachers say the students now pay better attention during class, and that has made them study harder and achieve higher scores.
上课认真听讲，作业做的基本上是全对的。
But not all students are as enthusiastic. This 5th grader, whom we caught dozing off in class, told us his parents punish him for low attention scores. And that kind of data adds a new kind of pressure for students.
想啊，如果在一次考试全班人都考了95分以上，就你考了一个85，你会不会感觉你有一种落后？
You are here to act as chaperones to the candidates. A group selected for intelligence trials using augmented reality technology.
This is seriously weird, isn't it?
I am Ariel. The candidates, they're children.
The time to save our country's future is now.
I thought that was a really neat trick they played on you.
But as me having younger siblings, we all had to share one computer until we got the iPads.
If we educate the kids and provide them the resources that are necessary, the goal was that they would go home or go into the community and be able to educate others.
Alert me at any time if you feel stressed, anxious, or concerned.
They weren't like this when we arrived.
There's something wrong with them.
The Verizon Innovative Learning helped me with technology because everything changed once we heard we got iPads, we can do our work through there, we can take it anywhere. If it wasn't for them, we'd probably still be in the same thing, having to share a computer lab.
Hurry! Run!
These are the minds of the future, remember?
They were given an opportunity to become engineers or to become city developers in their own classroom, so their confidence has gone through the roof.
And it opens up so many other doors that doesn't limit them to a specific career field.
A future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned. I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.